I call the, what day is today? August 5th, 2025, City of Clermont Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order at 6:30. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Hoisington. Commissioner Kramer.
Here.
Commissioner Bain.
Here.
Commissioner Nemec.
Present, ma'am.
Commissioner Colby.
Here.
Commissioner May.
Here.
And Tidona is not present due to vacation.
Okay, so there are 6 commission members present. We will now move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand as you are able for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will just remind everyone to please make sure that your microphone is turned on before speaking and to speak clearly into it so that people present here and those watching online can hear you. And as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and broadcasted on the city's YouTube channel, which can be found on YouTube at City of Clermont. Commissioners, you should have received the minutes from the July 1st, 2025 meeting. If there are no additions, corrections, or questions, I'll entertain a motion and a second for approval, but I do know there is one addition that needs to be added. And that is before we discuss new business. In the minutes that were distributed, it was left out where I disclosed that the developer of the Clermont West Phase 2 had emailed me after the previous time it came to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so we added that into that on page 2. So if there are no other additions or corrections, I'll take a motion.
I will make a motion with that amendment.
Okay, motion.
I'll second it with that amendment.
Okay. Moved by Kramer, seconded by Nemec. I'm sorry, moved by Colby, seconded by Nemec. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Minutes are approved 6-0. All right. Before we move into, actually, we'll start with reports. And we will start tonight with Commissioner Nemec.
Hope everybody had a good month. I'd just like to thank Camp World for displaying a beautiful American flag on 27. I don't know if anybody got to see it. It is beautiful. It really is. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, Commissioner Kramer.
No report out this week.
Okay. Commissioner Hoisington?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just very briefly, I had the pleasure of attending the city's budget workshops over the last few weeks. I also attended City Council, and then I attended a county comprehensive meeting that was held at Aurelia Cole Academy that was very informative. And just want to encourage everyone to look into the things at the county that they're doing surveys on and how they're working on this comprehensive plan. It was very informative, and to be able to go to the areas and put the little dots of where we saw the areas of concerns was very entertaining as well.
Yes. Thank you. Commissioner May?
Thank you. I just wanted to talk about a new advocacy group in Clermont, if I'm allowed to speak about them. It's a friend of mine, and she's not able to be here in attendance, so I just wanted to talk about her new, and it deals with kind of the planning side of cities. So it's called Strong Towns. And she started Strong Towns Clermont, and it's a new advocacy group that seeks to make Clermont a place that is safe, livable, and inviting. They believe that the city needs to adopt strategies to stop sprawl, improve on transportation options, and preserve, of course, on natural resources. They stand on smart growth, safe streets, wise use of taxpayers' money, better transportation, and better conservation. So you might be seeing this advocacy group become a little larger and start attending city council meetings, especially now that hopefully the comprehensive plan will be coming soon to the city. But her name is Anna Sinclair, and she is going to have a meetup coming up on the 29th. So if you guys, anybody who's interested in the public can join her Facebook page. It's Strong Towns Clermont, and the next meeting is the 29th of August, 7 p.m., and it's going to be on parking and transportation. And I think that's it for me.
What was your date again for that?
I'm sorry?
The date?
That's going to be on August 29th at 7 p.m., and I think she says it's going to be on the boardroom of the Clermont City Center. Oh, and the other thing is I did attend, I like to start attending new openings, and I went to the Bamboo Asian Eatery, which is right next to Amari, and that was really delicious, and I hear Brooklyn Bagels, and I guess there's another Prime Brazilian Market just opened, so I'm kind of excited there's all this new stuff coming to the city, so that's all I want to report.
Thank you. Commissioner Colby.
No report.
Thank you. And for my report, to follow up on last meeting, we had a discussion about creating a summary of actions that take place here at P&Z for our city council members. And starting tonight, after our action tonight, I will be drafting that up and sending that and submitting that to the clerk and the city manager for their distribution then to city council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you all for bringing it up and having the discussion about it. Welcome back, South Lake teachers. Last couple of days we had teacher appreciation sponsored by the chamber and various businesses and entities with here in the community. At what was it, Commissioner Colby? Over 1,600 teachers just in South Lake that attended the last couple of days. So we are bursting at the seams there at the Wesley Center. At some point, we might even have to go to a third day, I guess, if we keep adding more schools in our South Lake area, which we know we need. So, and school does start next Monday. So I bring that up because obviously we're going to have some increased traffic, and we're going to have some delays in our morning commute that we've kind of maybe gotten accustomed to over the summer of not having the kiddos out there maybe on bikes and on foot, and parents dropping their kids off at school. So please be mindful. Please make sure you allot for extra time in your commute. And please be extra cautious and careful through those school zones, particularly as our kids and our families and our teachers and staff get into a routine of where to cross and when to cross and how to make sure that's done safely and efficiently. So be careful with that and mindful of that, and welcome back to the new school year. Follow up for our city attorney. Could you just give us a brief update as to the rules that you presented last month and where we are with that going to the city council?
Yeah, this is something, as a reminder, that would have to be approved by the city council, and it will be presented to the city council in a resolution form. Now, it's going to have to be a robust discussion with the city council, and my understanding is it'll appear on the August 26th agenda. It's not going to be on August 12th, but it will be on August 26th. And it may be something that they adopt for themselves. It may be something that they only adopt for you based on your notes and recommendations. Because I think, if I remember, there's a consensus behind adopting them.
Yes.
So that'll be up to them ultimately, but it'll be heard in a few weeks.
Okay, thank you very much. And as always, as commissioners, we don't give up our opportunity to contact council members individually to let them know how we feel. So if that's something that you feel strongly about, please attend that meeting and also let them know, again, your thoughts on that. And just so the public understands and knows, what we discussed last time was disclosing when commissioners have ex parte communications and or site visits and seeking their own expert witnesses and information regarding an item that comes before the Planning and Zoning Commission, that we would disclose that information here at the meeting before an actual vote takes place, so that it removes any presumed prejudicial issues related to that. So we are forwarding that to the City Council for their review, and that allows then us to be able to have that process in place. And then finally, with Commissioner Tadona not here this month, I may postpone my next item that I wanted to bring up for discussion. I guess I'll just ask, do any commissioners know if they won't be here next month. It'll be the day after Labor Day, I believe, is our meeting. If so, then I'll just wait and postpone that. But I'd like to have a conversation about commissioner reports, and should commissioner reports be at the beginning or the end of the agenda, similar to what our city council did with their reports and moving those to the end of the meeting. So I'll wait till Commissioner Tenona's here, because I think it's important for him to weigh in on that as well. And I don't have anything else, so with that, we will move into new business. Before we get to there, are there any reports from staff or any agenda changes? Seeing none, then what we will do is we will move into new business. For those here and watching at home, we will have items presented individually as they're noted on the agenda. Staff and the applicants will give their presentation, and then anyone who wants to come forward will have their opportunity to speak after that here at the podium, and then it will come back to the commission for action. So we'll start with item number 1, ordinance number 2025-028, Bloxham Offices rezoning. Mr. Cruz.
Thank you, and good evening, Planning and Zoning Commissioners and guests. John Cruz, Development Services. This is agenda item 1. The applicant, Patrick Harb, is requesting a rezoning for the subject vacant parcel located north of Pitt Street and east of Bloxham Avenue. And on the display, here's US 27, Pitt Street, Bloxham Avenue, and here's the parcel outlined in yellow. The 5.65 acre parcel is currently zoned R3A Residential Professional District with a future land use designation of commercial. The applicant is requesting rezone the property to plan unit development with office flex space uses. And here is again, the parcels outlined in yellow. The current zoning's R3A, and the request is to go to plan unit development. The plan unit development would allow for a multi-tenant development consisting of 5 office flex buildings with up to 48,500 square feet of space. The PUD shall comply with the R3A residential office, excluding single-family residential, and the C2 general commercial district codes and regulations. The applicant has provided a list of prohibited uses under Section 3 of the ordinance, which is in your packet. And here is that section. Let me zoom in. And again, this is in your ordinance under Section 3. This is just a list of prohibited uses. The office flex buildings will consist of office space to include garage doors to utilize for storage capabilities for tenants, catering to businesses that require flexible use. And here's the elevation. Again, office door, the garage door, entry for flexible space use. As part of the PUD zoning request, the applicant is requesting one waiver to the city code. And this is to allow a 14-foot retaining wall adjacent to US Highway 27. And back on the site plan, that would be in this area here. Here's US 27. Here is the access point from US 27 into the site, and due to the elevation changes and current culverts, to transcend this, they need to keep that profile in place. So the request is to install up to 14-foot retaining walls in this location to make the driveway connection. Staff has also requested the applicant to have a 30% landscaping material increase on the south buffer that is adjacent to the residential property. Staff also recommends the elevations provided, which are here on the display, to receive some additional architectural treatment during the site review process. The rezoning to plan unit development would be consistent with the City of Clermont Comprehensive Plan goals and objectives. The mixed-use development is consistent with the character of the surrounding properties and will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the Land Development Code. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 2025-028. That concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Is the applicant present?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission members and staff. My name is Jimmy Crawford. I am attorney with Crawford, Modick and Holt, representing the applicant, 702 West Montrose Street, Clermont, Florida. We don't have a large formal presentation for you tonight. We've worked with staff pretty hard on this. The one couple of short things I would point out is that we're keeping all the traffic off of Bloxham. We're not going to have an entrance or an exit off of Bloxham. At site plan, emergency services may want an emergency entrance, and we don't think we'll be able to get a second one off 27. So that's a possibility, but never a public entrance. The contours here. Let me just show very quickly. This is the reason for the wall. And if you notice, we're at 135, 140, and it drops rapidly down to 120 over here, 115 in the very corner. Then the property begins to rise again. Oh boy, I did the focus there. So the wall itself will be lower than the elevation of the road of 27, and so it won't be visible. When you think of a 14-foot wall, you think of some of the ones we have behind the Ford dealership or something, and this is a completely different animal than that. Last point I'd like to make is that this particular property has been a thorn in the city's side and the previous owner's side for a long time. It had multiple serial homeless camps on it. Mr. Judson Stringfellow owned it prior, and we cleared that camp, I believe, 3 times when he owned it with the police and code enforcement, and within a week or two, they were always back. There was just almost nothing that could be done. So by developing the site into this office flex space, it's consistent with the neighborhood. The property to the north of us is owned by a medical group that is planning either medical office or clinic there. To the south of us is the multifamily that already has an opaque fence around it, and we are going to do the additional 30% landscaping. With that, we have Patrick Harb, who is a representative of the owner here. He's the tall, handsome gentleman back there. And Chris Germana is our project engineer. He's the slightly less tall, handsome gentleman back there. And we would be happy to try to answer any questions that either you or the audience may have.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We'll open it up for public input, and then please stand by for any follow-up. This is now the portion of the meeting where we have a public hearing on this item. Item number 1, ordinance number 2025-028, Bloxham Offices Rezoning. If you would like to speak on this matter, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes and the issue at hand. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Judy George, and I live at 300 Brookdale Loop. So I'm the property that is shown in many of the pictures. We are a community of townhouses that back up to Bloxham, and I'm quite happy to hear Mr. Crawford state that they don't intend to exit a driveway onto Bloxham because one of our main concerns is the increased traffic. And the other concern of ours is the type of business that might be there. And yesterday when I came to look at the plans, it did not include the whole packet. So I was happy to see some of the information about the types of businesses that you won't have. There certainly could still be the opportunity for many businesses that wouldn't bring us joy as neighbors. Our biggest concern is traffic and the noise from the traffic. Since I have lived there, the orange groves have all been cut down, and the increased traffic from 27 and the increased traffic on Bloxham is troubling for many of my neighbors. I am the president of the HOA, so I've heard from many of my neighbors that are concerned about the traffic. I do see, and I heard that there was an increase of 30% of landscaping on the south side. Can I ask why that might not also include along Bloxham on the west side? Is that something that could be considered? And in considering the future development of these other properties, we are not so vain as to think they're not going to be developed. Could there be a consideration for a frontage road similar to what is in front of the businesses where McCoy Credit Union and Quaker State, you know how there's the little exit, so each business doesn't have an entrance to 27, but there's just one little, I call it a frontage road. That is all I have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Christy Clark. I work for the Centenary Group. I live at 13221 Rainbow Lane in Clermont, Florida. And I've been a Clermont resident for close to 40 years and watched that property go from all sorts of things. We've done everything we could to try and clean that place up over there. Now, with 4 of the major hospital groups coming to South Lake County, most of them in the city of Clermont, we need office space and we need small bay flex really badly. We have a very small amount that's available. They pay high taxes. They're great users. They're Monday through Friday. They don't work on weekends, most of them. So as far as neighbors, office is great because they're there for 40 hours a week. You could have a townhouse there with 5 kids next to you with a bounce house in the backyard. I'm telling you, they'll be a lot louder. So I really highly ask you to please approve this project. This guy is going to build a nice project. It will add to our tax base, and it will take care of the encampments that have been plaguing that piece of property for years. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here in the audience that would like to speak to this item, item number 1, ordinance number 2025-028, Bloxham offices rezoning? Okay, seeing no one else, I close the public portion of the meeting and bring this to the commission for consideration. And we will start this item with Commissioner Nemec.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may, Mr. Crawford, you said there will be no traffic on Bloxham, correct?
Yes, sir.
So according to the conceptual plan, that is an egress, entrance, and exit?
You look at the conceptual plan.
Unless I'm reading it the wrong way.
Well, this is 27.
Right, and I
So-
said Bloxham, I didn't say 27.
Right, okay, and so, and here's Bloxham, and no, we don't have any, that would, what does that say there? I want to.
That's, I can't, listen,
yeah,
this
me
is what I
too.
had, I had to get a magnifying glass and I couldn't
Oh,
even
that
read
just
it.
says oversized parking. That was put in, and I can bring Mr. Germana up if you'd like.
Yeah,
But
please.
as the potential emergency access.
Thank you.
The city likes to have 2.
Well, that was going to be my next question for Mr. Germano.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, Mr. Germano,
Hey,
how are you today,
Good
sir?
evening. For the record, Christopher Germana with Germana Engineering, 1120 West Mineola Avenue.
Where is the egress, exit, and entrance?
I believe you may be referring to the ingress and egress that's located in the northeast corner. So that's right over
Oh,
here.
northeast?
Yes, northeast corner. That was based
I
on,
see.
that was based on discussion with staff and also I think some coordination with DOT regarding an access to the northern property. So that provision is there to allow for when that property develops in the future to have interconnection between both properties.
So there was no traffic at all, emergency, nothing, God forbid, on Bloxham, correct?
So with discussion with DRC, the fire department is asking for an emergency access. For
On Bloxham.
For a secondary means of access, just in case the primary access from 27 is blocked, that they have the means of getting in to this complex.
Correct.
So it's in case of an emergency that they have a second means of coming in. It's not the primary, it's just in case.
I understand that. Okay, I gotta ask, I'm not making a joke, where the dumpsters in here? I can't, see, if you can, please, next time, well, not you, but staff, This is what I get. I can't read this. I can't. Even with a magnifying glass, I can't read it. I want to know what these things were, but thank God you put them on the screen. It looked like traffic lights to me.
I was gonna say, did you get the larger one in your packet?
Yeah, I did, but still.
Sure. So to answer your question, the dumpsters are located in the southwest and southeast corner.
Southeast.
So the bottom,
Okay,
bottom
I
left
got
and
you.
bottom
I
right.
see. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, there's also one in the center, north. So there's three.
Thank you, Mr. Germano.
Yes.
You answered my questions exactly the way I wanted them.
Okay.
All right, would this question be to staff? The effect of the rainwater going down to the homes underneath it?
That is something that will be reviewed at site review by our engineer, but there is proposed stormwater ponds to the south that follow the contour.
Well, that's why I asked John,
Yep.
Mr. Cruz, is because that says proposed. All right, after last night's rainstorm, that's all gonna be paved in concrete. It's not gonna be land where the land could absorb the water. I just don't, the elevation of that parking lot compared to the roofs of the homes on the bottom, that's my concern. Okay, I like the project, I'm not saying I don't. I'm just concerned about the water runoff going down to their community. That's what I'm concerned about. Okay, and,
And I can address that if you like.
okay, thank you.
So we've actually prepared some preliminary calculations, and we have 2 dry ponds that basically in those locations where it's called out. We have geotech reports with permeability test. So per St. John's requirements, the runoff in the precondition cannot be exceeded in the post-condition. So our design will comply with the city regulations and also St. John's to ensure, that runoff will not impede the adjacent property.
That's the answer I was looking for. Thank you. All right, my last 2 questions. The business of operations, I couldn't find it unless I overlooked it. Can somebody answer that?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, don't.
Usually they say
Did
I'm
I-
too,
you're
they
sorry,
say
I
I'm
didn't
too
listen.
loud, so, I'm trying to calm down a little bit.
Sorry.
Business of operations.
Like what type of business?
No, not the
No.
type of business, the hours, business of operation, the hours.
I'm going to ask Mr. Harb to come up and talk about that. I know that they are tenants. We're not planning on selling these. It's not platted. And I'm not sure about the hours of operation. Some of them may be trades, and so there may be some early morning. We would prohibit backup beepers for that. And go ahead and introduce yourself anyway. There may be questions.
Be
Good
afraid.
evening, Patrick Harb. I'm the developer. Address 3700 34th Street, Suite 300, Orlando, Florida 32805. Yeah, we're not too sure about the hours.
I'm just worried about the noise.
Yeah. Quite often we have done, if somebody's going to be coming in early in the morning, then we do prohibit backup beepers on their vehicles. Is that something you think we can discuss?
We could discuss it.
Okay.
Well, and just to point out, there, in the ordinance, item number 7, under section 3, does say that there shall be no truck traffic, loading, or deliveries of any kind on the property between the hours of 9 PM and 7 AM.
So we
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I guess I should read these things. Thank you very much.
yeah.
You only met with them, but, yeah. Okay, and the last one, the buffer along Bloxham is 25. Are we planning to add any additional, or we're just going right up to the bare minimum? Because that was actually brought up on a question of,
Additional
a resident.
landscaping or additional room?
additional landscaping.
It
Has-
hasn't been discussed. I don't know why you would want additional, I mean, the code requires the landscaping, and whenever we butt up against residential, even though we have 100 feet of stormwater ponds between us and them, we give extra there, but
I'm talking about on Bloxham.
I
so
know,
I'm
I
talking about
know.
the west side, not the
The,
south side.
you know, it's
not
just
easy
trees,
being
it's
me.
just money. If the board feels like there should be additional
Okay.
landscaping along Bloxham, we will of course comply with that.
Okay, and staff, just to refresh my memory, 27 is a state road?
Correct.
Okay, and they have approval for this entry point?
They have had discussions with the FDOT, and at time of site plan review, FDOT will be part of the review process, and ultimately, FDOT has to grant their approval.
Thank you, that's
You're
exactly what I want. No further questions, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. Commissioner Kramer.
Thank you. So this project aligns with the city's future land use designation of commercial and redevelops an underutilized property along a major corridor. I'd like clarification on the timeline for the build-out. Will all 5 buildings be considered, be constructed at one time, or are they going to be done in phases?
So the buildings will be done in phases. Yeah.
How will tenant use be monitored over time to ensure compliance with prohibited uses? 5 years from now, will a liquor store, a dispensary or something pop in there? Who's monitoring that to make sure that that doesn't happen over time?
Mostly it's the gentleman sitting at the table here, but the list of prohibited uses was drawn up voluntarily and in good faith, and I can't imagine, now, I always say, if we say something, write it down, because 5 years from now, it may be sold, and it may not be Mr. Harb, and it may not be me, and I don't want to look like a liar.
Correct.
So, it's in the ordinance that it cannot be, so maybe Miss George would call code enforcement if something bad comes in.
I'm just wondering, because sometimes we have a tenant association which monitors that, or an association or landlord who really strictly monitors that, and I'm just making sure that.
Because this is a single owner, we're not going to do an association per se. But we will give every tenant copies of the conditional use permit and the actual site plan that's done afterwards. And in their lease, they will be bound by that.
Okay. So using oversized parking spaces and roll-up doors, are the uses, are you intending more light industrial tenants for that? Because I don't envision a retail store going in where you have a garage door to open up.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't use the term industrial. Flex space is a hybrid category that does have office, and in fact, when we figure out the parking, which we've been talking to the staff about, we do a mixed parking with some warehousing, now not self-storage warehousing, we're not doing anything like that.
Correct.
These are, an electrician or a plumber or a tile guy or a cabinet guy, or they are an insurance office or something, a lawyer's office who can't afford good rent and is starting out, or whoever that happens to be. But the intent is not to have anything, and industrial is not allowed at all. So there's no outside storage, there's no manufacturing.
Okay.
None of that allowed.
Just clarifying. So the PUD zoning provides flexibility while also setting clear limitations, including prohibiting uses that might be incompatible with the area. The office flex space model allows for a variety of small businesses and professional uses, supporting economic diversity and job creation, so it sounds good to me. And the project includes landscaping buffers, appears the stormwater management's aligned, and cross-access easements, and improving the site connectivity and infrastructure. So for me, cleaning up that area, I actually live in that, very, very close to that area, so I'm sensitive like you are to what's going to happen in that area. I actually use Bloxham a lot, and sometimes do shortcut in those, the back door to some of those establishments there, but I have found that, and I've lived there for a long time, that unless you really know that there's a back entrance to any of those, the Highway 27 traffic doesn't really flow over there. So I'm leaning very favorable for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hoisington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Most of my questions have been answered, but I'm glad to hear that there's not going to be direct entrance off of Bloxham. Having grown up in that area, having a mother who still lives there, brother that lives there, and uncle that lives in that area off of Pitt Street, I was really concerned about the additional traffic because Bloxham is extremely busy. But with the emergency exit that you mentioned, will that not allow, because someone will find an entrance there if they are allowed to get in there, how are we going to prevent traffic?
Yeah, it
from
is,
doing
it
that?
is blocked and gated,
Okay.
and the fire department and the cops have a
Oh,
clicker.
okay. Okay.
So that will do it. And if I could, first of all, you're exactly right about Pitt Street and this, especially since the Aurelia Cole Academy opened. That backs up at school times a lot in that
Yes.
direction. We don't want to add to that, and the city didn't want us to. I would note that I didn't even see this before, but Miss George's idea of a
Service
frontage road,
Right.
it's not, it would never be a true frontage road for 10 parcels, but it can provide access to the parcel to our north, and if the city holds their feet to the fire, they'll provide access to the intersection from that. So we could do that and help keep them off of 27 and the entrance that can get bogged down as well. I hope that answers your question.
It does. The landscaping, I know that's been discussed, the 30% on the south side, is the builder willing to do enhanced landscaping on the Bloxham side, just so that every,
Yes, we are. I'm not always a fan of the 30% more because I've seen it 10 and 15 years down the road, and your oak trees are all growing into each other and everything. So I don't know exactly what the best way to address that is, but like I say, if it's the board's wish, we will absolutely do it.
Okay. And like everyone said, knowing what that area has been used for with the camps, having witnessed, them going in and within a week it's back full, I really do appreciate it. I was so happy to see when the land was cleared.
Both of us, yeah.
Oh, very happy, so I appreciate that, and looking forward to seeing what type of development goes in there. I'm, with my fellow commissioner, I'm leaning to support this as well.
Thank you very much. And if I could point one quick thing out, over the last year, 2, 3, we've had discussions about my clients want straight zoning because they don't know exactly what they're going to do, and the city wants to know what's going in. So staff has quite reasonably worked with us, and we've settled on this model of PUD with a conceptual site plan that has to be substantially in accordance with, but a list of alternative uses that could also be appropriate. I just want to point out that those uses can't be done without a revised conceptual site plan. So if somebody decided, no, we don't want to do that, we want to do the third use that's allowed there instead, 10 years from now they want to redevelop, they have to come back in front of you guys. The use is allowed, but the site plan is subject to your review and approval. So it's kind of a wonderful little compromise that helps protect the city and gives the business community the flexibility that they need to move forward. So I appreciate staff and the city working with us on that.
All right, Commissioner May.
Thank you to you all. Great questions, and some of them have been answered, so thank you for that. Parking ratio, is this going to be enough parking for the visitors, the guests that are going to be part of this?
We certainly believe so. As I alluded to just briefly, there is no parking category for this within the code, and we looked at a bunch of other municipal codes, and nobody has one. They're all a combination of. So we think it will be. We obviously, as the owner that continues to rent, if we have a parking problem, we're going to have rental problems. So we have designed it the very best way that we can with what we believe is enough parking. And if Mr. Cruz wants to chime in on that, or have additional questions. I wish I had here's the code and we meet that, but there's not in this one. So we try to use our best judgment and don't overbuild to where we're going to have parking congestion problems.
Mr. Cruz, what's the total number of parking? It's not in the ordinance.
The total number based on the site plan that I'm seeing, looks like it's 82 right here.
Very small, yeah, so. Thank you, 82 spaces.
And again, this is what we, so. So, it's 82, staff has researched it, looked at it. We've even looked at some other office, garage space, doors, storage in the area, and it's very in line with the ratio that they have. If planning and zoning would like to put a condition in there that if parking becomes a problem, it can come back, that's always an option.
Yeah, I mean-
But, ultimately, if parking is a problem there, then we're gonna have an issue with the tenants. But again, it's totally up to you to put that condition in there if you like.
And the only reason why I bring it up is that office flex is used very prevalent in South Florida, and we've done a lot of this in Wynwood when I worked in Wynwood. So it depends on the type of tenants. So specifically on that large one, that could be, down the line, I think a restaurant is allowed, I guess, as a permitted use. So that, that's.
They would definitely have to come back and go through us for restaurant use. There's a lot of other moving parts for restaurant use, and I believe that's on the list that Mr. Crawford was talking about.
Yeah, it says alternative permitted uses,
Yeah,
so I'm
they
just
would have to
thinking.
come back. And at that time, based on that use, then the parking would be more. And they also would have to do a grease trap. So there's a lot of other additional components at that time. It just gives them the ability to come back and say, we would like to do restaurant, which the use is there, but in order for us to accomplish the restaurant use, we have to change this, we have to take additional parking, we might have to, modify the building. It just gives them the option to come back. But in terms of the parking, staff reviewed it. We felt it was adequate in terms of what was presented and what we researched. Again, if it is concerned with the Planning and Zoning Commission, that is always something that could be added. Again, it's totally at your direction.
So that leads me back to the question that the developer had asked, that answered, which was that if this is going to be done all at one time or in phases, and I believe in phases might help them, especially with the parking, because I guess, are you building it to suit for each tenant? That's what I would like to know, because I'm just the parking is a little concerning. So I know it's going to be built in phases, so I'm assuming it's a built to suit. So you're already going to know what type of tenant is going to be in phase one, and then the type of tenant for phase two?
Yes. Now, some of the tenants may be responsible for their own interior build-out, but the shells will all be us, and they will be done in phases, and it's required that the infrastructure to support the particular phase has to be in at the time, or you don't get a CO. So the stormwater, the parking, all of that will be in commensurate with the building phases.
So, say for instance, there's enough for a particular, one is an office, the other one is, whatever is allowed here. A doctor's office, and one is, I guess, hotels and no, I don't know if hotel motel in there, but a retail. I've seen retail in these office flexes, just to let you know, or a market. I think it's easier for them to determine how the parking is gonna, so as long as it's gonna come back to us because it is gonna be built in phases, I'm a little bit more comfortable in that sense. I just, for me, I was worried about those two bigger flex spaces to make sure that there was going to be enough parking, because I just, it's going to be kind of crowded and people start parking on the sides. I've seen some of these flex offices where it gets really crazy. So I think the phasing is probably the smartest way.
Okay,
So,
thank you, yes.
yeah.
our banker thought the same thing.
Yeah, just because of the different types of the tenants, because you just don't know what tenants are coming in yet. Was there a traffic study required for this? I guess it wasn't in the package and it wasn't mentioned, so I was just wondering if there was.
This was reviewed by a traffic engineer. I know you've brought this question up multiple times, and we've inquired by the city manager's office the direction of putting these traffic studies in your packet. That is something you're more than welcome to request from staff directly. There are several hundred pages. This one was not several hundred pages because you have to remember this site was approved for 12 homes. So what they did is the traffic engineer looked at the traffic generated from the 12 homes and then looked at the difference of what this use would be. But the biggest thing was they're accessing US 27 that has plenty of capacity in terms of the volume of traffic, which is below, FDOT considers it, I hate to say the word, but it is de minimis in terms of the numbers. But we do have that if you'd like to see it. I think it's about 5 or 6
But I'm
pages.
assuming that's the reason why all the traffic's coming in from the 27th and not on Bloxham.
That possibly could be true.
Okay.
I didn't design the site, but that is probably one of the reasons behind it.
Yeah, I was kind of happy once we found out that most of the traffic is coming on 27th. The emergency is only going to be accessed from
That is correct.
from Bloxham. It makes me a little bit happier about that, especially knowing that there's residential all along that road. And of course, the lady's concern as part of the association. Will there be any live work associated with this flex office?
No, ma'am, prohibited.
Okay, so could that be part of the prohibited uses?
Yeah, residential's not allowed in.
The live work is a little different.
It's true. That's not the kind of flex we're talking about, so we would be fine with that,
Okay.
yes. That property has been a live-work property for the last 10 years.
I heard based on everybody's comments. I think you've talked about the type of tenants. Will there be any repair shops as part of the tenants? Because I don't see that as a permitted use, and I don't see it as a prohibited use, so I'm not sure if that, I don't see it as a permitted use, and
It's a CUP? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, under the C2 general commercial that's referenced in the ordinance, automotive repair is a conditional use permit, so they would have to come back and amend this.
okay.
In terms
Just
of-
want to make sure, okay. Yeah, because somebody had mentioned cabinetry, and they do a lot of work as well. So, just noise is a concern, but repair shops, I was just wondering if that was under conditional use, okay. Let's see, we talked about the landscaping, that was one of my questions as well, possibly some landscaping on Bloxham just to kind of buffer, especially with the residential. Oh, the question, sidewalk, will there be a sidewalk added to this property? I see the frontage type of road, but I don't see any sidewalks in the
I
back.
believe it's in the PUD ordinance. I can check real quick.
If not, it's in the city code, that
Yeah.
it's required.
Yeah, so,
So
Sure.
the short answer is yes, it's a site plan issue, but we'll absolutely commit to making sure there's a sidewalk from north to south. the whole
Yep,
way.
it is, I'm sorry, Mr. Crawford, it is, and it says on G, a minimum 5-foot wide sidewalk shall be constructed along each street's right-of-way. I have it highlighted, so,
Good.
yeah. Let me see any other highlights here. Buffers, locations, the property shall be allowed one master development multi-tenant ground monument sign that complies with city code and a secondary monument sign that does not exceed 1/2 of the allowable copy. Where is the location of the signs?
We don't know yet. Again, that's a site plan thing, but
Okay.
that is not a waiver from code requirements. We're going to comply with the sign code.
Okay, and those signs will not be digital?
No.
Flashing
No,
or?
no.
Because of,
Yeah,
because
also
of the
not allowed.
residential? Okay.
And it's a hard one with this. If you wind up with a lot of divisions on these for rentals, everybody won't get a sign, because then they wind up that big and nobody can read them. So they'll be allowed also individual wall signs on the front to meet city code, and we'll rely, for the small users, we'll rely on those.
Okay, just my concern was the flashing because of the
Right.
residential, the digital. And I think,
No, the city's the only one that can do those signs.
Right.
Anyway. They're prohibited for everybody else.
I think that is it. I'm actually happy to see that this is also going to be something. And I do like the office flex. Like I said, we've done a lot down in South Florida. And there's some unique tenants that could be even created in those. So, I mean, we had even a nice little coffee shop where they opened up and people had their seating. So I'm excited about this. So for me, I'm good with everything.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Colby?
All right, all of my questions have been answered at this point, so good thing about going last, a lot of good questions. But I do think this is much needed in the city. I think this will do quite well, and it's nice to see this site cleaned up, so I will be supporting this.
Thank you. I'm not going to reiterate everything. I do want to echo, though, what Commissioner Colby just said, is I think this would be a valuable addition to the city and to this area in terms of what was there previously, and also just in general as a model for how this flex office space can be used within the city, primarily fronting major roads like 27. And then also keeping in mind the residential that abuts it by not having that egress ingress onto Bloxham and funneling everyone out to the road that has more capacity to handle that traffic. With that ingress egress on 27, I guess question for staff. So if FDOT does not approve the 27 ingress egress, and they say, no, we think you need to have it off of Bloxham, because we don't have it in here now as that, what would be the process if the developers, I'm not saying they would, but if they wanted to pursue that, what would be the process?
They would have to come back and amend the PUD with a new site plan showing the connection from here, let's just say it's here, and this one gone.
And that would come with, to start with us.
It would
and
be
then-
a PUD amendment to planning and zoning
Okay.
and then go to city council.
Yep.
That is correct.
So I asked that because I want to make sure the folks who came and spoke about the Bloxham access point to know that it wouldn't just be something that could be administratively done or bypass this level of review prior to the council. It would come back to us. I do support adding the parking numbers into the ordinance. I think that, as Mr. Crawford says a lot, and I think I've quoted him saying it, if we commit to it, put it in writing.
Write it down.
And so I would be okay with saying that they need to have the minimum 82 parking spots for that in there. I also would be fine with adding to the prohibited section, I think it's section 3, number 1, where it says excluding single-family residential and live work, or however we need it, the legal would phrase that. I would be fine with adding that in there as well. Outside of that, I think this is a welcomed addition to the area and definitely an improvement from what we've seen in the past. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes.
I may just ask one question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is a safety question. I just listened to these other questions that came across. Mr. Crawford, do you know how far the U-turn is on 27 going northbound? So in other words, if I'm coming from, let's say, Wellness Way, Wellness Ridge, and I want to cross it, do you know how far away the U-turn is? Is it right there? It's not there?
I don't know
Is
where the
there a
next
light
school
there?
meeting is. Mr.
You know,
Tremana?
nobody did any research on that, huh?
No.
Yeah, it of course is a right in, right out only because it's a divided highway. at
No,
that
I
portion.
understand that, but, 27, lately, it's been a lot of, especially that area, is a lot of speeders. That's what I'm worried about.
We just scaled it off of Lake County GIS, and it's about 800 feet. And normally on state highways, it's 660 is usually the dividers on the road. So it is definitely further than that.
Okay, so it would not affect that U-turn lane?
No. not
Okay,
that I can
thank you.
see.
That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Anything else?
No further questions, Mr. Chairman, from me.
Yeah, and I think, what Commissioner May was just
Sorry.
saying is related to the frontage road dedication, if you will, in that area for the interconnection of the parcels. I think, I agree, someone mentioned staff holding the people to the north accountable and feet to the fire to make sure that we have that, so that folks turning in off of 27, if they need to go to the other one, can do that without having to go back out onto 27 and then immediately turn again. So I think that is incredibly important. Okay. If there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion with or without any additions.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-028, that we also add into that we codify the 82 parking spaces, and that we also put in writing the excluding the live work in that area. Okay, they've got it on there.
The live work and residential, I
And
believe.
the residential.
Residential's already there.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So with 82 parking spots and the addition of the live work exclusion.
I second that.
Okay, and so that's moved by Commissioner Kramer, seconded by Commissioner May.
Yes.
Any discussion, final discussion?
Yeah, I have a discussion, real quick. Mr. Crawford came up with a great idea that if it's an overcrowded parking on one of their tenants, and, things happen like that. I don't want them parking on Bloxham and so on, that they would have to come back to the planning, zoning, and the council again. So can we add that in there as well?
Is that a requirement, Mr. Cruz or Mr. Henschel, to?
I mean, you brought it up, Mr. Crawford, so that's why I'm inquiring on this.
We have a motion on the floor, so we'd have to get some approvals from those folks.
What
but-
was the question, Mr. Nemick?
The question was, Mr. Crawford said that, well, if there's a problem with overcrowded parking because of one tenant, you could come back to the P&Z and council. Well, he didn't say council, he said P&Z. So whatever crosses our desk, crosses the council's desk. Remember saying that, Mr. Crawford?
Similar to that. but
Okay, maybe I might be
I
incorrect,
think
but
it was
I mean-
Commissioner May, I think, who actually said that. I said, if we have a parking problem, our tenants are going to let us know about it, and we're going to have a problem renting it. The issue with that is, how do you define
Right.
a parking problem? Certainly, parking on Bloxham is prohibited and should be,
That's what I'm-
or anywhere except in a designated parking space.
Well,
And-
that's what, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, sir, but that's, that, I want to put this to rest. It's my only concern. I want no parking from this property on Bloxham.
That's a great condition.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Probably not legal anyway, so.
It's not legal. I'm just letting you know what
Yeah.
my concerns are.
Belts and suspenders, I'm fine with that.
No other questions.
Okay. So we do have a motion on the floor to approve this with the 82 parking spots and the live work exclusion. Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Chair votes aye as well. This is approved 6-0. For the applicant, this will now go, please work with staff. This will go with them to put on the city council agenda, and for citizens, there will be an opportunity, because this is an ordinance, this typically has 2 readings at a council meeting. The first one usually is no action unless they want to make changes. And then the second one is where they would make that action, so you'll be able to find that on city agendas on the city clerk's website. Okay, thank you. We will now move on to item number 2, resolution number 2025-019R, Church at South Lake conditional use permit. Mr. Henschel.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commissioners and guests. Kurt Henschel, Planning and Development Services Director. The applicant, which is the church at South Lake, is requesting an amendment to an existing conditional use permit to allow for the development of a 16,300 square foot building addition to the existing church campus, which is before you, located at 2500 Hook Street. Here, north and south, you have Hancock. This is Hook Street here. This is the current church facility. The subject property is located within a planned unit development and is operating under an existing conditional use permit. The church at South Lake was granted a conditional use permit in 2012 to operate as a house of worship in the C2 General Commercial Zoning District. The proposed expansion would include a new worship auditorium and staff offices. The site plan shows the development of the 16,300 square foot building addition being constructed between the two existing buildings. And that is represented. Wayne, could you zoom out just a little bit there? Oh, I'm sorry, I've got it here, sorry. So for orientation, this has changed. So this right down here on the bottom of the screen is Hancock, and over here is Hook Street. So this darker gray area represents the existing building, and this is existing. The light gray is the 16,000 square foot addition. The current auditorium, which seats approximately 500, will be repurposed as space for the church's youth ministry. Upon completion of the expansion, the total seating capacity of the church auditorium will be 700 seats, representing a net seating increase of approximately 200 seats. In reviewing an application for a conditional use permit, Section 101-212 of the Land Development Code is consulted. The proposed project expansion is consistent with the existing land use designation and the surrounding development pattern. Staff has reviewed the proposed amendment and finds it consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and land development code. Therefore, staff does recommend approval of Resolution 2025-019, and that's staff's report.
Thank you. Is the applicant present?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Honored to be here. My name is Brian Hammond. I'm senior pastor of the church at South Lake, 1860 Hancock Road in Clermont. I have had the privilege of being the pastor of this church. I was actually the founding pastor of the church 27 years ago. Have been honored to remain the pastor that entire time. I'm also a lifelong resident of Lake County, graduated from Leesburg High School. My wife and I both did, actually. So this is home for us, and we're honored to serve our community in any way we can. Our goal has simply been to do our best to, as a church family, to make a difference in our community in very tangible, practical ways. We look for all kinds of ways to serve our community and are honored to do that. We purchased this property in 2011. As Mr. Henschel mentioned, we had a conditional use permit in 2012 and completed the renovation. These two buildings were existing when we bought them. They were built and designed to be a retail center, but they were never occupied and not fully completed. They were actually in receivership when we purchased them from the lender in 2011, and it actually been sitting vacant for a few years, and we remodeled them and used the existing buildings that were already there. Our plan had always been from the beginning to expand that and to connect the buildings into one complete, one consistent building. But before we did that, our goal was to actually build a facility that would allow us to better serve our community and the needs of people. So about 2 years ago, we built our CARES building, which houses our food ministry, our disaster relief ministry, where we, for example, this last year helped about 60 different homes right here in South Lake recover from the storm damage, free of charge, all those. So we built that first and waited until we could have the opportunity to do this. So the addition is, as was stated, is converting our existing worship space into just additional youth ministry activity space, as well as some more administrative space, and our new auditorium will be in the middle of those two buildings. I believe we have some exterior renderings should be in your packet of what it will look like when it's completed. So we're honored to be here tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Stick around, and we'll open it up to the public first and then bring it back to the commission. All right, this is an opportunity for anyone here in the public to speak on this item, item number 2, resolution number 2025-019R, Church at South Lake Conditional Use Permit. If you'd like to speak on this issue, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to the topic and no more than 3 minutes. Again, anyone here would like to speak on this item, item number 2? Seeing no one, we'll bring it back to the commission, and we will start with Mr. Nemec, Commissioner Nemec.
All right, real quick, just 2 questions, sir. Well, actually, this would be staff, I'm sorry. But staff, there's a school zone sign there. All right, we all know, if you live in Clermont, how crazy this road is, because it's not going to get expanded. It's 2 lanes, okay? And especially where this new entrance is, that's where people from 50, and I see it all the time, it's a safety issue, not a traffic issue.
Clarify what you mean by new
What I'm
entrance.
trying to ask is there's a school sign that flashes saying school zone. This would be pushed back because of the expansion of the building?
You said new entrance. I didn't follow you. What new entrance? There's no new entrances involved with this
So
project.
so this parking lot is not new, it's been existing?
Yes, it's existing, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry, that was my error. I admit when I'm wrong. To the pastor, I guess I could say, sir, the founder. 700 seats.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You're overcrowded already with 500, and you're adding 700?
We have 3 services on Sunday, the 8, 15, 9:30, and 11 o'clock. So, yeah, those are, the 9:30 and 11 especially are full. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to clarify that you said 700 and it wasn't a typo.
Yes,
Okay.
no, yes, 700. So we currently seat
That's
right
good
at,
that you're doing that good.
yeah, we currently seat right at 500, and it's at capacity.
Okay, thank you. No other questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Kramer.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to make a few comments. This request appears to me to be consistent with our comprehensive plan and the existing conditional use permit. The applicant does exceed our parking requirements with 213 spaces, and the traffic analysis shows only minimal weekday peak impact since most services occur on Sundays and Wednesday evenings. So I would like to see a few points clarified. First, how will the city monitor compliance with the parking to seating ratio over time, especially during large events? And second, how will the grass parking areas be maintained to remain functional during rainy conditions? So, and third, will the expansion maintain architectural consistency, which, looking at your drawings, it appears they will, with the existing campus? So, when I hear how we're going to take care of the grass and those things, I believe this project can serve a positive investment in our community's faith-based and civic life and maintain harmony in that area. So
I can speak to the parking and the grass for sure. We already utilize that for parking. It is not at capacity, and we own the additional land behind it as well. So we own what this property sits on, and there's 5.9, I believe, additional acres to the west that adjoins that property that belongs to us. So there's plenty of overflow as far as that's concerned on big events or, crowded Sundays, Easter, Christmas, and the like.
So that large property to the west of yours is yours
It
as
is,
well?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we
That's
own
good
all
to
that.
know.
We own right at 10 acres altogether right there.
That's huge.
And then the existing parking where it's designated as parking, as I said, we park on it now, but it was not required to be designated as parking previously. And so that is improved, irrigated, and regularly mowed land that we've parked on for now 12 years. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
No more questions.
Commissioner Hoisington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My only question, I see that you're building everything within your campus, so I'm not worried about your parking, and I've been there, so I know where you have the overflow parking. But my concern is going from 500 to 700, and even though the report says that the majority of your activities will be during the week, during the day, any additional traffic on that road causes chaos on 50 Hancock. So knowing that there is a possibility that there will be activity in the evening, possibly on the weekend, housing 700 people with cars going in and out, I don't understand why the traffic study, the actual traffic study on increased traffic was not conducted to ensure how that's going to be managed off of the road versus looking at what's going on during the middle of the week.
I understand. And actually, my wife and I live in Groveland, and so I traverse 50 every day. Traffic, she told me to quit complaining the other day, so of how long it took me to get to work. So I do appreciate the traffic concern. One thing I can say to that, in the 12 years we've been there, even at our most crowded, biggest events that we hold, we've never had anything remotely close to a traffic congestion problem. We don't, our normal Sundays and even our large Sundays, we don't need police directing traffic because the ingress and egress happens very fluidly because there's just the way that it flows. We do have volunteers that kind of direct traffic on our large events to kind of help that process, but it really does flow very well. Our normal Sunday worship gatherings, for example, I told him I'd throw him under the bus a little bit. It is the one day of the week that Chick-fil-A is closed, so that reduces at least 10,000 cars a day right there. So, but kidding aside, yeah, we haven't in 12 years had any delay in anybody exiting, and as far as I'm aware, I don't even think we've had any minor fender bender accident or anything like that during our service times that have happened right through there.
And you feel comfortable with adding 200 additional?
I do, yeah. I think according to the ITE and the numbers given, I think it's, they allot one parking space per 4 seats in an auditorium, so that's about 50 added cars per service, which is pretty minimal to that. And we feel very comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
If I may,
Yes,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chairman.
Go ahead.
To piggyback off of my fellow commissioner, have you ever had a service with 700 people? I mean, the way you said it was like, even our church and Easter, and I understand that those are the 2 holidays that everybody
We have had, I don't know if I want to go on record to say we've overcrowded it before, but yes, we have overcrowded that a little bit before.
Well, could you can you relate to an answer? Like, would you know the max size you ever had in your history of that church?
In one service?
Yes.
A little over 500, yes.
Just a little bit over 500.
Yeah, so we had no...
Right, that's when you said you had no congestion, and I understand
Yes, we
that.
haven't.
But now, like my fellow commissioner stated, you're adding 200 seats.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Which,
guess it's...
as I said, with the additional space that we have, the land that we have, and the way we direct people
No,
in and out. yeah,
that's
we
a
have-
plus. That's a major plus.
And most of our traffic is they leave. They don't actually leave on Hancock. They'll leave some on Hancock. If they're going south on Hancock, they'll leave that way. But we also have an entrance on Hook Street.
Right, I saw that.
Which is a much easier exit from our facility. So I would actually say our main entrance is actually off of Hooks and not Hancock.
Right. No, I'm sorry. Thank you, Commissioner. You put up a good point.
And you're done? Okay. Commissioner May.
So a lot of my concerns, as the other commissioners have brought up, is the traffic flow, parking, just going from 500 to 700. So can you just show me, I guess with your finger, where exactly the flow of traffic? So you're saying from Hooks, is there a better, maybe on this map? Maybe on this one you can kind of show us how that's good.
This one actually will do it a little bit better.
Yeah, so just show me like how, you have your volunteer set up, you have
Sure,
both entrances open and just.
We do have both entrances open, right? So right here, this is the entrance off of Hancock, So Chick-fil-A is right over here. This is Subway, and that, 50 is right along here. This is Hancock going south this way. So we do have an entrance right through here, and people park now, obviously, everywhere that is paved, and as well as this grass. The space that I said we also own, everything that's not developed through here belongs to us. So we, on a crowded Sunday, we can have overflow parking. Sometimes we already do over in here, just not because we really need it, but sometimes there's people that just park over here because they want a quick exit and get away. And this is belongs to us as well. This is that CARES building I mentioned that houses our food ministry supplies and our disaster relief and all of that. So on a normal egress leaving, they'll come out this way, or they'll come down this drive to this. They'll exit both out this way on the hooks, and also usually it's coming out of here. So we kind of flow them around the parking lot on Sundays that are really full to limit congestion and make sure that we don't have an issue. Like I said, that I can remember, we've never had a time that I'm aware of that we even had traffic backed up into either road getting in because of that.
Yeah, so you're saying the green behind the building, that's the existing parking. There's no lines, so it's just
right.
it's
This
just
right
green
here,
space.
this right here is what is noted on yours as that will be grass parking, designated parking. These areas, we use these fields for a variety of things, youth activities, but also can be overflow parking, which we do some on now. And most of the exits, so we'll direct them around through here, like this way over to Hook Street to leave.
So what's the total number of parking spaces in that green space, the grass area?
Just in the green space, in this designated?
Because it's without lines, it's kind of hard to.
It is on your sheet. I cannot remember. Chris, do you remember? Huh?
But there is
103.
no lines. How much?
103.
And there's no lines though. So I mean, it could be like 90 because somebody might decide to park double.
Yes, but we also we park people.
You guys park
Yes.
the people. Okay.
Yes, we have volunteers that can park people.
And so people come from Hancock, and there's people that come from Hooks.
Correct.
There's not like a one-way in and a one-way out. It could be easier, or have you guys tried that before? Or I'm just.
We are always evaluating what's the best of anything that we do. So we have talked about that before, especially big Sundays. And we have one thing we have done. We've not done the one way. We've talked about it before. What we tend to do on Sundays, we know we're going to be really crowded. Is we will when any part of the parking lot is full, we'll with cones block that off and direct people to the part that is open, so that they're not having to drive around and find a parking space. They're directed to where parking is open.
The next question is directed to staff. Is there a requirement on ADA for handicap, since there is no lines, there's no designation here since there is an additional 200?
Yes, that does get reviewed at site review, yes. It's the state law. One space for every 25, and there's a cap on that as well.
So will that be designated on this site plan?
Yeah, they do have quite a bit already in the asphalt area. That would apply to.
So do we know how many that is required now with the 700?
Bear with me here.
And you have it designated at the church. Your volunteers have the blue or the.
We do, yes. And I will just say, we actually have additional, we've designated ourselves an additional, I believe it's 10 handicap-only spots for Sundays. It says on like they're not required by code, but we have handicap Sunday only, to make it our goal is to make it accessible and friendly to people when they come up and to go kind of above board.
Yeah, no, I was just concerned because it's hard to maneuver in the grass, and so I figured you guys would have.
Yes, no, absolutely.
But since you're adding 200, there's going to be an additional.
Yes, we will.
amount.
Like I said, we will, and we have handicapped individuals that we go out of our way to accommodate. We want them to feel very welcomed when they're there. And those additional spaces that we've gone on our own and identified now, we have them right by the front door.
Let's see. I see that you had a provision in there, 11, just to let everybody know. It says, should the church use cease operations, and I'm assuming you've been successful for 27 years, and probably even longer than that, in the future. So, but it says, should the church cease operations for a period greater than 180 days, the new conditional use permit shall be required. I'm good with that. I mean, we're starting to add that in a lot of our
I believe that's the case in our
resolutions,
existing
yeah.
one as well.
Let's see, the church occupancy low shall be governed by the amount of parking on site, no more than 4 seats per 1 parking space. Other use includes administrative offices, classrooms, areas should also be included in all parking calculations. So that comes to the administrative office and classroom during the week. How many people work during the week and use parking?
Many people during the week. We have a staff of about 13, and we have different activities that come and go. None that are, we don't have a school or preschool, and no plans to have one either. We have different classes and meetings for different things that happen throughout the week, but it does not fill the parking lot.
And do you have like Spanish services on Wednesdays? Sometimes other churches have Spanish services on a certain day.
We don't, but what we do have on Wednesdays, our middle and high school ministry meets on Wednesday nights. They kind of take over our building on Wednesday nights.
And how many students or how many?
Right now,
members?
there's about 150 on Wednesday nights of middle and high school.
So that's on Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them drive, some of them get dropped off.
Correct.
Okay. Let's see here. Expansion shall be 1 story, not to exceed more than 17,000. What are your plans for the rest of the property? I mean, it's not part of this application, but I'm just curious. Are you guys?
We don't really have any plans for that. We have zero plans to sell it, even though we get a phone call about every other day.
I can imagine.
Have
It's
for years.
huge.
We were very fortunate and blessed to be able to, we purchased the first section, those lots 1 through 4 in 2011, and we're able to purchase the additional acreage, I believe it was 2014. So yeah, our plan is just to keep that as part of our campus and actually make it look a little more like it is a church campus, and not with this, it won't look like a church meeting in a retail space, but we're going to make that look a little nicer, if that makes sense.
Well, I think, asked all the parking questions that I needed. So okay. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Commissioner Colby.
All right, I think I like batting number 5 in the order here. All the good questions have been asked, but I think it's a great project. I think it's a phenomenal organization, and I fully support this.
Thank you. And you clarified that you do currently use the underdeveloped lots for parking currently.
When need be.
Yeah,
It's
when need be.
very minimal. Yeah, we do.
And you don't currently have any PD directing traffic. With the increase, do you foresee needing that?
We don't foresee a need for a police officer to direct traffic. We do actually have an officer on campus every Sunday, just for safety.
Sure.
But not for directing traffic as such. And we feel more than confident. From a volunteer standpoint, they can handle that when we need it.
Yeah. And question for staff: if the church came and said, "Hey, we think we need an officer now," because I know some other churches in town do actually stop traffic on city streets to dismiss church traffic. So if they needed to do that with this increase, is there a process or procedure for that, just so the public can be aware?
They would negotiate with the police department. There's a fee, I'm sure.
Okay.
I know there is.
So there's no city approval process. It would be
No,
this. It would
it's
be
not part of-
CPD's jurisdiction for hooks. Well, actually, is that section? Would that be Lake County? Given the
Oh, you mean for the road?
for the roads? Yeah. If they were going to shut down the roads to allow traffic to come out of the church area.
Technically, I don't think they shut it down. They just control it through the PD. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's shut down.
Well, it's stopping traffic on a
Right,
on a
they're
street
just
where there's not a stopped
Right.
signaled interchange. So
I've never known that to be a problem. We've
Sure.
never put that into any kind of PUD or
Nope,
CUP.
and I'm not looking to. I'm
It's
just curious
They work
what
it
the
out through
process is.
PD.
Okay.
Yes, right.
And then also for staff, did we consider for their capacity, are we considering paved or pervious and impervious spots in the calculation, or are they required to meet code for paved parking, and then they just can use the lots for additional parking?
They're able to utilize the grass parking area. In fact, a lot of the churches in the area have a big part of their facility is grass. 'Cause it's
Right,
just-
but they're meeting the code by that as well, is what I guess
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm asking. It's
I got
actually
you.
being included in the calculation for the code.
A portion of it is,
Okay,
yes. yes.
okay. All right. And I agree. I think it's not a change of dramatic use. It's expanding the service that's already there, and I think everyone who lives in that area is relatively familiar with the traffic patterns, and maybe, if you get a full 200 every service, every Sunday, it might be 10, 15 minutes timing-wise if everyone leaves at the exact same time, which we know is not always the case. And you got to go to the basement to have some cookies and some coffee afterwards, right? So not everyone leaves right at the same time. I just showed my being born and raised in the northern states, going to the church basement for cookies and coffee after service. So
I don't think you want a church basement.
no, I think you're right about that.
We'll talk about damp.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you for that very much. Any other questions or concerns from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Ray?
Just one question. Is there any landscape required for the additional space? Is the-
Okay, so the existing landscaping will remain around the
Right,
property.
but is there any?
The building itself may have some perimeter, small shrubs around it itself, yes.
Okay. Is there a requirement, though? Is there an
Yes.
increase in percentage?
Yeah, there is.
Do you know what that is?
It's
Very
60%
minimal.
of the frontage of the building. Now, that excludes entryways, so that there's a bit of a formula that we have to look at when they submit the actual elevation plan. But yes, there is.
But that will be in it during the site plan process?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to put that on record. Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll set a motion for approval. I just lost my spot. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'll set a motion for approval of resolution number 2025-019R.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Nemec, seconded by Commissioner Colby. Any final discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. Item is approved 6-0. Please work with city staff to have this put on the agenda for the city council. And this is a resolution, so barring a delay from the council at that meeting, they would likely vote on it at the meeting that it's on the agenda the
Thank
first
you very
time.
much, Mr. Chairman, and everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
And item number 3 for the public has been withdrawn, so we have no action on that item. Is there any discussion of any non-agenda items? Seeing none, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:58 p.m.